Alright, we are now live on YouTube. So let us proceed with topic. Let me check my okay. So let us proceed with topic 4, which is looping. Okay, where is that? So you go to your classwork and then you open up topic 4 real quick. Topic 4, loops. Alright, introduction to loops. Okay, I will just create a side-by-side window again, maybe, so that I can quickly demonstrate the code to you. Can I hide this? Is it possible for me to hide my thumbnail here? No, it's not possible. Never mind, I can just do it side by side like this. Okay. So looping is basically repeating your code. Okay, this is a tool for you to repeat some code or instruction until a specified condition is reached. So basically looping will involve conditional as well. So you will have your condition to make sure whether the code needs to be repeated or not. So either repeating the code or not repeating the code, so it's up to your condition. So you are basically combining the one from topic 3, the one that you have learned in topic 3, and the one that you will learn in topic 4. As a programmer, you will find that you rely on loops all the time. Okay, you will hear the generic form iterate, which are referring to loops. Iterate simply means repeat, but we don't use that fancy word, okay, because we are normal human. We are not a total like a professional programmer that we use all these fancy terms. So we just use repeating. The term repeating is basically iterate. When we see that a process has to repeat multiple times in a row, we write a loop. Loop allows us to create efficient code that automates the processes to make scalable, manageable program. Okay, in this lesson we will learn about two types of loop, while loops and for loops. So there are two types of loops that we will learn here. Okay, so this is how the flowchart is gonna look like. Okay, before this you might have already learned how to draw a selection structure flowchart. Okay, the one with diamond. So diamond is basically making choices, okay, making selection. So you have your condition inside there. So the condition might be true or it might be false. So they are most likely you are gonna have two outcomes for your condition. But for this topic, whenever the condition is true or false, you might want to repeat the process once again. So as you can see right here, you come from some process up here, and then you come across this condition diamond here. Okay, this condition shape here, and then if the condition is false, you straight away proceed with the program. You go down straight away. But if the condition is true, then you need to do something and then you repeat the process. For as long as the condition is true, you repeat the process. So the conditional code needs to be executed whenever the condition is true. Until the condition is false, then you leave the repeating loop. So here is the looping mechanism. As you can see here, the arrow is spinning around here anti-clockwise. There may be a situation where when you need to execute a block of code several number of times. In general, statements are executed sequentially. The first statement in a function is executed first, followed by the second, and so on. As you can see from your original topic 2 code, okay, basically we can look at the code from top to bottom. We can process the code from top to bottom only. Programming languages provide various control structures that allow for more complicated execution path. Okay, a loop statement allows us to execute a statement or group of statements multiple times, and following is the general form of loop statement. Okay, we are gonna see this. Actually, there are three major type of loops. Okay, and then one is actually the combination of them. So as you can see here, the easy one that we are going to learn today is basically while loop and do while. Basically these two are pretty similar in their form. And then the one that is scarier is for loop. Okay, for loop gets a little bit more difficult. But when it comes to nested, when it comes to combining the loop, you are gonna be looking at this coffin dance. So those are the different levels that you need to expect when you do this looping. So the easy one is gonna be while loop. So while position of the word while is at the top of the loop body. Repeat a statement or group of statement while a condition is true. It tests the condition before executing the loop. Okay, so this is regarding while loop. For the second method of looping, which is for loop, so I put complicated here because the way you process for loop is a little bit more difficult than while loop. Execute a sequence of statements multiple times and abbreviates the code that manages the loop variable. Okay, you will look at that later on during my demonstration. Do while loop is basically pretty similar to while loop, so this one should be placed right after while loop, not at the third position like this. So the position of while is now at the bottom, unlike the original while loop. It is positioned at the top. The keyword while itself is positioned at the top. But for do while, we basically have two keywords here. One is do, do, and the other one is while loop. The other one is while. So do will come first before while. And then for loop, okay, that will be discussed later. And then for nested loop, that this will be learned after you have completed all these this major loop method. Okay, so while loop demo here. Alright, so this is basically taken from Code Academy as well, so we might be visiting Code Academy one more time. For topic 4, okay, basically I can just go straight and discuss all these example with you straight away now, and then we can repeat the process once again in Code Academy, so you will have a better understanding. Okay, so before we dive deep into the syntax of while loop, let's do a demo. Inside enter pin.cpp, the one that you will refer to inside Code Academy, we have a program that asks and check for password. It uses a while loop and asks the user to enter the correct password basically over and over again. Okay, you don't need to understand the code right now, right? You don't need to understand the code, but the code is here. It's while loop code here. What I need to do here is to copy. You can follow along, copy the code, and then you open up your compiler. It's either online compiler or offline compiler, it's up to you. So this is gonna be the code. So bang off, like let's say you don't say bang off Code Academy, bang off FKA. So we run the code first and see how it's gonna look like. Okay, so the code name is basically playground.cpp. I'm using the same name for my demonstration here. Something is missing. Wait, this one is open, close. Oh yeah. Okay. Why there is an extra? Okay, because I copied it wrongly. Oh no, I need to overwrite everything. Yes, like that. Okay, compiling the code and then executing the code like this. So now it gets back to Bank of Code Academy, whatever. Enter your pin. So the pin that I'm gonna enter is anything with 4 digits. Okay, 1111. Okay, 2222. 333. Okay, 99999. Okay, 0000. Oh no. Okay, too many invalid input. Try again after 5 minutes. So that is how you repeat your program. So this is basically applying repetition in your code. For as long as your password is incorrect, okay, the program will keep on asking you to re-enter the input. So basically, based on the code here, you know that the correct password is gonna be 1234. Okay, because you have clearly stated the correct password in your code. You are not creating a new password. Okay, this is not that kind of complexity. It doesn't have that complexity of like setting up your own password. That could be done in your own project later on. You can think of like user login experience. So user will need to enter their name, need to enter their password and all that for your reservation purpose, something like for your airline system is now. So basically this is just a very basic example of how we can play around with while loop here. So let me run the code once again. I need to change this, let's say to FKA UITMCS. Okay, let me recompile the code, rerun the code. Okay, Bank of FKA UITMCS, I'm just changing the name. So let me just do a random pin first. Okay, 1, 37372, and then now I write the correct password. So it says, you now have access, pin accepted, but it still print out the too many invalid input because I put it down here. Basically you don't need to specify that. Okay, the code is not perfect. The code is just a very basic program flow. That's why you look at that. You were not supposed to see that. If you plan to put that too many invalid input, I need to modify the code a little bit. I need to put this else statement down here. I just remember this. Okay. Hey, Xfile. So these two statements down here needs to be placed inside else, so that you won't see the error message there, too many invalid input, whenever you have entered the correct password. So let me show you once again how this gonna run. So I will write the correct password straight away, and then as you can see, your pin is accepted, and then you now have access to whatever you want to do. Okay, let me retry with multiple input first. 47, 37, 38, 38, 29, 29, and then this is your last chance. Okay, basically I will tell you why you can only enter 5 times, and then the program will end the code for you. Okay, let me do the incorrect password once again. So this is the final input that you were allowed to do. So you can only input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before your code ends. So this can be used in your password verification project later. So whenever you're trying to implement a password related task, something like password verification task in your code, so you can use this structure straight away. You can just copy all this code here and then you dump it inside your own project. So the number of times is basically 5. The number of input that is allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one must be correct in order for you to get the accepted output. So pin accepted, you now have access, so you no longer look at the try again later error message. Okay, so this is basically a very good example. I can show you that once again. If you don't put this else right here, no, let me just leave it as is first. Okay, so let's get straight to the discussion part. Okay, let us discuss on this. Maybe later I will not. Okay, the next topic is basically different thing now, so we can discuss on this first, so I don't have to go back and discuss on this code in the Code Academy later. Alright, so we start off with our declaration of pin. Okay, pin. Okay, wait, let me get back to this pin. So this pin variable is for you to keep the input pin from user, to keep the input pin from user. So user will enter something for your code, so that variable is for you to keep that value, and then you declare it as int, because your password is not gonna contain by right pin number. We are talking about bank pin number, so you normally have, is it 4? No, it's 6 basically. Yeah, it should be 6 pin number. It's not 4. 4 is just like your unlock key for your phone, kan? Is it? Is I think even your phone is using 6. Okay, your phone is using 6 digit pin. Okay, never mind. So you can do that as well. You can add more numbers here, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the password is now 6 digit pin. Alright, so let me do that once again. Okay, enter your pin 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you run it, you will not be able to get it right, because the password that you have set just now is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you need to write up until 6, then your pin is accepted. So that is how you modify the code real quick. Okay, so tries, another variable in this code is tries. Tries is basically how many times you want the user to repeat the process. So we will declare tries to 0. We assign 0 to tries. Basically that is the starting of your counter. Basically tries is a counter that will count how many process it needs to be looping. So this is to monitor the loop, or to keep track of the loop count, something like that. Keep track of loop count. I hope that you understand that term now. So loop is basically repeating the code, and then count is basically counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I hope that you understand that we normally count from 0. We start calculating the iteration from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though there are 5 times, but you start counting from 0, so you are gonna end with number 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but all in all, you have to repeat the process 5 times. Okay, so the first process here is basically printing out the bank of FKA UTMCS, and then the second one is enter your PIN. So now we are prompting the user to enter the PIN number. Okay, enter the PIN number. So you will do just a normal cin because this is integer, standard int, so you don't have to use other cin method. So cin with PIN, and then this basically means you need to put something inside this PIN variable, put some value in it, okay. Then you will come across this structure right here. So you have got your while here, while followed by this parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis is where you have got your condition. So inside there is gonna be your condition. So one of the condition is gonna be if the PIN entered by the user is not the correct PIN, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you use this not equal operator, not equal relational operator. So you start off with this exclamation mark followed by this equal sign. So if PIN is not equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is one condition. And then you have another condition that needs to be combined with this condition. So you use this AND logical operator. So this AND logical operator will combine the condition on the left with the condition on the right. So the condition on the right is thrice is less or equal to 3. As you can see here, thrice is less or equal to 3. So you start counting from 0. So basically the first value of thrice here is basically 0. Okay, so you start from 0, 1, 2, 3. So how many times? There should be 4 times. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is why as you can see from the previous demo, we are only allowed to do this repetition 4 times. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th time is basically the end, the last input that you are allowed to give. But basically you are doing this, I think this is because of this operation right here. It has something to do with this. Okay, this is another tricky part of computer programming. Okay, so I keep on saying 4 because this is 3 here. Thrice is lesser or equal to 3, but yet we are using this post increment method. Yeah, I need to go line by line with you. Let me get back to this condition. Alright, after, if both condition is true, so if the one on the left is true and the one on the right is also true, then you do the thing inside this curly braces. Okay, curly braces. So inside this curly braces is whatever you want to repeat. Okay, whatever process that you want to repeat if the condition returns true. So while the condition here returns true, then it must be both of them must be true in order for it to return true. Okay, because this is AND relational AND logical operator. So this side must be 1 or true, and the other side must also be 1 in order for it to return true. 1 and 1 will return 1. So if 0 and 1 will return 0, or the other way around, 1, 0 will also return 0, or if both 0, it will return 0. So the process that you are repeating is basically re-enter your pin. Basically I can put an extra word here. So re-enter your pin. Basically you have entered incorrect password for your first try, something like, if you enter it correctly straight away, so you're gonna see pin accepted, right? So if I rerun my code, so if I put 1 2 3 4 instead, as you can see, the next prompt is not gonna be still enter your pin. Enter your pin is basically the first instruction just now, and you need to get it right in order to not look at the loop at all. Okay, but if you entered it incorrectly, if you somehow forgot your password, you will be prompt once again, but now with a slightly different instruction. Re-enter your pin. So now I need to enter the correct pin so I can exit the loop. Alright, so look back here. So what you do here is basically you are repeating the same process as line 10 and 11. Okay, up here it's basically the same thing, but just make it slightly different in terms of the way you ask the user to let the user know that this is now inside the loop. Okay, this is not repeating the entire code, this is just repeating a certain portion of the code, okay, which is the one between line 14 to line 18. All right, look at this closing curly bracket. That is the end of the thing that you want to repeat. So only anything inside that curly braces is gonna be repeated. Okay, not everything inside the code will be repeated. You need to understand that. Okay, it's not repeating the entire code. Okay, it's just repeating anything in between the curly braces right after the closing parenthesis of this while structure, and then right before the closing braces of that while structure. So this is the complete while structure in this code here. Okay, so whenever you re-enter your pin, you need to do something else right here, which is tries plus plus. So this tries plus plus is basically a post increment method. Okay, it's basically you add 1 to this variable, but not on this line right here, not on line 17. Basically it's gonna add 1 to tries after it goes back up. Okay, so tries dot plus plus right here will still give you 0. It's not gonna be 1 yet. It's not 1 yet. Okay, so as you can see in the output later, I will add this cout. Okay, cout statement for my tries so that you see the output, how it looks like. Okay, I will add something before these tries to make it look more logical to see in the output later. So number of try, number of tries, and then that's basically it. I think I need to add this endl as well at the back, so I need to put this standard notation because I am following the method right here, so you just follow along. Otherwise I could have just declared this using namespace std up at the top, but no need to do that for now. Okay, you do it for your own code later. Are you guys still with me? Why are you guys so silent?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Should I just?
Right. So now enter your pin. So let's say I enter my first pin here. Re-enter pin. Okay. The first time I got it wrong, right? I got it wrong. So basically I'm gonna repeat this code actually 4 times. Yeah, it's basically repeating the code 4 times. Okay, I will enter wrong password once again. So as you can see, the number of tries now is 0 because we start counting from 0. That is what I want to show you. So 2222, this is my second time trying to re-enter the correct password, but I still got it wrong. But now the number of tries is now 1. And then for my third try is 2. The number of tries is now 2. And then the last time is gonna be the fourth time, or basically the number of tries is gonna be 3. So you can see here, after it reaches the number of tries equivalent to 3, it will exit the loop and output this. So as you can see, the last number of try, the last value of tries is 3, as you can see from this condition right here. Okay, all in all, you have four tries here, and then you have 1 try at the beginning. So all in all, you have 5 tries, and as you can see here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that leads to 5 times of retries. So we can call this retries. Basically, this is the first try. Okay, if you get it right straight away, if you get the password right straight away, it will not look into this anymore. Okay, if you get the password straight away, if you enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here straight away, it will cause this condition to be false, because as you can see right here, this pin right here, pin variable is being compared with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you do input the correct pin straight away, so what is gonna be look like? So it's gonna be this pin variable is gonna contain that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you can see, you are doing this comparison right here. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? That's basically wrong, right? Because those two are basically the same number. So since those two are the same number, the one on the left is basically the equivalent to the one on the right. So this will return, this relational operator will return false. Okay, it will return false. So this part right here is gonna be 0 or false. Okay, so the other one is tries is lesser or equal to 3. So now we have declared our tries as 0. So right now our tries is still 0. So 0, is it lesser or equal to 3? Yes, it is true. So it's true. So false and true will return false. So immediately it will not proceed to this while loop structure. It will not look at the content of the while loop. It will straight away skip to line 19. Okay, skip to line 19. So I need to revert back. Okay, so do you understand that regarding the checking process? Boleh?
Boleh.
Alright, now if you were to input the correct password straight away, something like now, okay, I demonstrate it to you once again. As you can see, this is the correct password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enter, pin accepted. It will jump straight from line 11. It will still go to line 13 first. You look at my line number here. Okay, I'm referring to my own line number, not yours. Okay, when you try this in your code later, you might have different spacing. If you remove that spacing right there, you will have the while loop at line 12. But if you keep it that way, you will have the while statement located at line 13. So if you input the pin number correctly straight away, it will look at the line 13 first, and then it do the process of comparing the number. So if pin is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then this condition right here is false, just like how I demonstrated it to you earlier. It will be false, so this condition will return false. These two conditions will return false, then it will skip the entire while loop structure, and then it go straight right after the closing bracket, the closing braces of the while loop. So it goes straight to if pin is equivalent to 1 2 3 4 5 6. So that is basically the correct password. So you will need to output these two statements, pin accepted, and also you now have access to whatever you want. Otherwise, okay, if the password is incorrect for 5 times, okay, 5 times, you combine the first try with the 4 repetition, 4 retries. So the first one is the original enter your pin here, and then the other 4 is re-enter your pin. So there are 5 times of retrials basically. So if you got it all wrong, okay, if you got all the password input wrongly entered, so you will get this invalid input statement here, invalid input, and then try again after 5 minutes. So if I remove that, if I were to remove that, what's gonna happen is that this is what I modified from the code earlier in the demonstration. As you can see in the original Google slide, I don't have that else statement for my last 2 lines here, and now I am going to show you that structure once again without the else statement. So we only have what we consider as a one-way if statement. This is what we call a one-way if statement. Whenever you have only one outcome, there is only one possible outcome for this condition right here. Only if the pin is 1 2 3 4 5 6, you do this. Otherwise you will skip this statement, these 2 statements, and then you go straight here. So how does it look like? So if I recompile the code and rerun the code, so let me write the incorrect password. Okay, so now we have 4 retrials. So 4 retries. As you can see, too many invalid input. Try again after 5 minutes. Okay, so you have first try here and then 4 retries. But the problem is that when you enter, like, okay, we enter the wrong password first, and then we know that we have 4 more retries to go. So this is the second one, this is the third one. Okay, this is the last one. We are going to enter the correct one now. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, now it says pin accepted. You now have access. But the problem is that the last 2 statement is basically something similar to a sequential flow. So whenever it has outputted this pin accepted and you now have access to this system, it is still gonna exit the closing braces here. Okay, you have a closed brace at line 24 here. This is the opening brace, and then this is the closing brace. So after it has executed all the statement inside that if, because the if just now was correct, okay, this condition was correct, so it needs to execute these 2 lines. But after that, it needs to exit the condition. And right after exiting the condition, what it sees is basically line 25. It sees line 25, too many invalid input. I have to print it out. No matter what, right? No matter what, I need to print it out. Okay, so that is the problem with logic. Okay, you are basically missing some logic here. There is not enough logic in your code. Basically, you forgot to put this else. This must be done in a 2-way manner. It's a 2-way condition. It's not a single-way condition any longer. Okay, otherwise if you completely remove this line, what's gonna happen? Okay, if you completely remove this line, basically this is actually how it looks like in Code Academy. These two line right here, the 25th and 26th line is basically added by me. So if I rerun the code without the last two lines, how it's gonna run is basically like this. So get it? Alright. Okay, that is usable example here. So basically I have entered all the pin wrongly, okay, as you can see right here. So since we have completed the 4 retries, so it will return nothing. Okay, it will return nothing. It will not say anything. It will not say you got it wrong, too many invalid input, because I have commented the line just now. I have removed the statement from this program. Basically, here, since you don't mention anything, whenever your condition is not correct, it will not go to this condition right here. It will not execute the condition, but it has nothing else to be executed after it find out that the condition is not true. So you are basically looking at return 0 at the end here. It's basically you have that line at the end, but it's still pretty optional for you now. So that is why you don't see any output. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, you only have the first try and followed by the 4 retries. I keep on repeating that so that you know what we are dealing with in repetition. So that is why we need to have a proper structure down here. Okay, if you plan on displaying too many invalid input, if you have reached the 4 retries, so you need to add else statement, else, spell it correctly, and then followed by curly bracket, and then those two lines you need to input inside that else statement, something like this. Right? Okay, I can remove all this spacing. It's just for it's to make your code looks easier to read basically, but it's up to you. Even without the spacing, at least you have your indentation. That is still okay. If you don't have indentation, something like this, yeah, I might have a hard time in identifying the statement. Okay, if you do it like this way, but it is not wrong. This is not wrong. It's just that your code is not that clear to the other user or the reader of your code. So you need to at least provide a single tab here. You need to apply a single tab to make it more visible to other people's eyes. Okay, right, so we recompile the code and then I rerun the code. So this is my first try. This is my, okay, that was my first try, sorry. This is my first retry. This is my second retry. This is my third retry, and this is my last retry, which is the 4th one. So even though the number of tries here is basically 4, right? It's 3, but all in all it is basically 4 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So when you got too many invalid input, so it will say invalid input, try again after 5 minutes, but it's not doing anything. Actually, it's just stating wait for 5 minutes, but your program is not doing anything. So you keep that in mind. Okay, so we have 10 minutes to go. So what should we do now? We can proceed first. I hope that I make it very clear to you. You can keep on repeating the video later for you to really digest all whatever I have mentioned earlier. Okay, this is basically the activity inside Code Academy. Maybe we can do this later. Since this is the activity from Code Academy, I can do it later or quick. And then a while loop. The last one we held your hand, so let's try one on your own. Okay, as an example of iteration, we have the first program ever run on stored program computer, right? It was written and run by David Wheeler in blah blah blah. Calculate and simple list of square like the following. Okay, this is basically just an example right here. Okay, you need to write a code that will basically print out number, any flow of number, but for this case it starts from 0 and it ends at 9. Okay, so the program looks like this. Whenever you have the first number here, the second number on the right side is basically the square of that number. So the square of 0 is 0, the square of 1 is 1, the square of 2 is 4, the square of 3 is 9, and so on, right? On the right there are numbers from 0 and 9. On the right are the squares. For example, for the number 9 multiplied with 9 is 81. So this is basically what I want to show you now. But basically we are going to repeat this once again inside our while structure in the Code Academy later. I need to take some of your time a little bit in the afternoon. We need to extend our class a little bit now. I hope I can do that. Can I do that?
Okay.
Extend a little bit.
Boleh ya, sir.
We are not having lunch kan? Tak ada orang nak pergi lunch sekarang ni. Siapa pergi lunch Colin lah lunch. Okay.
Isaac.
Isaac. Alright, this one is for loop, so you don't have to look into that. Okay.
Memandai je kamu Colin.
Okay. So how do we do this process right here? Let me follow this structure a little bit. This is the content of my main function, and then I need to add this using namespace std. Right, so now we need to output the number first. You need to do it one by one. You need to do it from the first step to the last step. You need to figure out what your process flow looks like. So basically what we are trying to do first is just try to output from 0 to 9. So how to do that? Okay, so let's play around with while loop a little bit here. So we have this while followed by parentheses, and then inside this parentheses is where you put your condition, right? So this is where your condition resides, and then right after you close that parenthesis, you will need to create curly braces like this. Okay, so inside the curly braces is where you write the condition, is where you write the statement. Alright, so inside here, let's do something inside here first, the condition here. So the condition here must be related to the variables that you have declared. So the variable to store our first number on the left hand side here is gonna be I, and then the square of I is gonna be held by this variable named square. Okay, so I squared is gonna be equal to square. Alright, so let's do the condition for this code. Okay, since we start off from 0 and then we end at 9, so you can do something like this. The condition might look something like this: while I is less than 10, something like that. Well, I is less than 10. This is one option. Okay, I'm gonna show you this first method. Okay, so this is your condition. I is less than 10, meaning that I can start from any negative number, okay, because any negative number is still less than 10. As you go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is gonna be the last number, because whenever you have this condition right here, if 9 is less than 10, that condition is still true. But when you have increase it one more time to 10, so while 10 is less than 10 is not true, because 10 is exactly 10, so the condition will return false. That is why I said to you earlier, the last number that will return this condition true is gonna be 9. So as we wanted to print out the number up until 9, so this is a usable condition right here. So we need to see out I, and then followed by, since we want to print them out vertically, so we can use ENDL at the end of our cout statement here, and then you can basically run the code to see the output straight away. Oh, sorry. Okay, something is missing from my code that leads to this infinity 0 here. Infinity 0. As you can see, do you see this? My scroll bar here is moving up. Nampak tak?
Amazing, sir. Amazing.
Amazing kan? It's amazing. As you can see, this is a matrix of 0. It's basically it's this moving very fast down here, and as you can see, it stressed out my Core i9 CPU. Okay, now I am using a 22%. My terminal is using 115%, and my fan is now getting faster and faster. As you can see, my temperature is 90 now.
Wow.
All my temperatures is now 90 because of this process right here. You did something wrong in your code that can cause your computer to crash. You know that?
Wow.
Do you realize that? Now it gets more interesting in computer programming. So I need to exit the code by just forcing it to close. Okay. Now as you can see, my laptop is no longer stressed out. As you can see, the temperature is now reducing to 80, and then it gets better now. Okay, so what I missed just now was basically to increment my I. So I need to increase my I by 1. For each loop right here, I need to increment it by 1. So I can use this method right here. I equals to I plus 1. Okay, I equals to I plus 1. So during the first try, the first print out, it will be 0, right? And then after it prints out the value of 0, it's gonna add 1 to I, so that your current I is gonna be 1. Your new I is gonna be 1. So 1 is less than 10, it will output 1, and then 1 plus 1 is gonna be 2. So the next condition is gonna be 2. It keeps on updating the condition. So if I rerun my code with the added process there, you're gonna see my number ends at 9. As you can see here. Oh, my fan still keep on spinning very fast. As you can see, it's 100% here somehow. Okay, now you see the output is from 0 to 9. We have managed to print out just up until 9. Yeah, we are not doing that infinity loop anymore. Okay, as you can see, just by missing this one line of code here, you might crash your computer because the condition will forever be true. What happened earlier was, without this line right here, if I comment that line out once again, Okay, so let me be the compiler, let me be the program executioner. So I is now 0, right? I is now 0. So we go straight to this while condition right here. My I is 0. So is I lesser than 10? Yes, that is true. Then you do this. You see out I. The value of I now is 0. And you keep on you only have this one statement right here. You just ignore this, you remove that. Okay, after that it will recheck the condition. It recheck the condition. Is the condition is still like this? 0 is lesser than 10? Yeah, it is still like that. So you keep on doing this forever until you crash your computer, until your computer burns out, until your computer explodes. So you keep on doing that. So that is what really happening here. As you can see, if I run the code once again, see this 0 right here is keeps on printing out. As you can see, my scroll bar is moving up very fast. That is what is basically happening here. Paham tak? You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So
Boleh.
this condition,
Faham.
you need to practice this a lot in order to really understand how it works. Basically, this condition right here will be revisited each time for each iteration. Okay, for each loop, this condition right here you need to refer back. You keep on returning back to the condition for as long as the condition is true. So that is why we have this statement right here. I is equivalent to I plus 1. Okay, so this will return the number only from 0 to 9. Okay, but I can show you the alternative for this. Rather than writing this in a very long manner like this is a very long statement. We can shorten it out by using this shortcut here. I plus equal to 1. So this is one of the way. I followed by plus equal 1. So this is actually basically the same as I equals to I plus 1. It's just the shorter way of representing the expression. Okay, so if I rerun the code using this new method of declaration, so as you can see, it's still outputting 0 until 9. So there is one more way of doing that, which is using the Pre Increment Method. So plus I, like this, plus I. If I run the code once again, so it still print out 0 to 9, as you can see here. And then one more way to do it is I plus plus, which is post increment. Just now it was this is post increment. The previous method was pre increment. Okay, let me run the post increment method first and see how it looks like. Okay, so this is how it looks like with the post increment. Okay, do you understand this?
Yes.
Meaning, what I'm trying to show you is basically there are 4 different methods of incrementing your I here. Okay, so you can choose whatever method you like. Okay, but there are some catch here regarding the pre-increment and post-increment. But since we don't see any issue whether using pre-increment or post-increment, so I'm not going to go into that for now. I'm not gonna make you confused anymore. So I just rerun the code and see if the number is still from 0 to 9. So if it is still from 0 to 9, so we don't have to discuss on that for now. Alright, so we have managed to print out the value of I here, but we have another column, okay, another vertical column which displays its square of this I. The square of this I is gonna be displayed on the right side. So how do we do that? The easiest way is to do it on the same cout line here. So we add another portion of double quotes here, and then you put a single space here, and then followed by this insertion or extraction, I can't remember, and then it's followed by this process right here, I multiply with I. Okay, so then you close it with another symbol here. What do we call that? I keep on forgetting. Extraction, is it extraction? Extraction C++. Extraction, insertion. Also, no, insertion. Sorry. Cout is always insertion. Extraction is basically extracting from user input. So cin is using extraction. Cin is extraction, but cout is insertion. I keep on getting those two confused. Okay, so we have added that statement right there, so we can rerun the code and see the result here. As you can see, we get the same output as expected, as you can see on the example with this one. But you can use other method right here rather than specifying a single tab, a single space bar like this. If you don't put any space bar, what's gonna happen? If you don't put any space bar, this is gonna happen. Okay, the number will be combined together, as you can see like this. There is no spacing at all in between them. So you have to really know how to design your output, how to display your output out. If you do it this way, if you don't specify in any spaces in between those two double quotes, you are still gonna get the same result. Okay, it's it's either you put a single space bar here, or you put /t. /t is for you to create a single tab spacing. Okay, they are much wider now. Okay, it's single tab spacing. So how many spaces, I don't know, you need to figure out yourself. You need to this is actually one tab in my terminal. Okay, did I make myself clear? Do you understand this? Are you guys following me? Okay, you can use other implementation method, like the second one right here. It's gonna be the same output. It's still gonna be giving you the same output right here. Okay, one more thing. Okay, we are still dealing with this example right here. Let me since this is recorded in the video, I can just remove some part of the code here, and I don't think we need to look at the command there. And then there is one more thing that we can play around with here. Okay, if you don't want to use this relational operator is less than, you want to use you want to have this number stop at 9, right? So you want to write 9 here, exactly 9. So if you plan on writing 9 here, if you run the code straight away without correcting the relational operator there, so what's gonna happen is that you're gonna see your output up until 8. Okay, so it stopped at 8 because 8 is the last I value that will let this condition be true. Whenever the number increases to 9, the condition is no longer true. So in order to still have this number 9 here on the right hand side, you need to change the relational operator to less or equal to 9, so that the condition will still be true until the number is 9. Okay, paham tak? Whenever the number is 10, so it's no longer true. But your condition now is a little bit different than earlier. Okay, earlier you wrote it like this. I is lesser than 10 is basically similar to I is lesser or equal to 9. The last number that is gonna return this statement true is 9 here, and this one is also 9 is the last number that is gonna make the condition returns true. Otherwise, when the number increases to 10, it's no longer true. That is the case here. But the positioning here is also one of the important, I think that is basically the only two conditions that can be used here. Only this method or this method. There is no other ways for you to do the condition. Okay, I hope that you can clearly differentiate between these two. You know why do we use 9 here instead of using 10. If we use 10 here, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna output up until 10. It's not like what we wanted, right? We wanted it to be the last number to be 9 instead of 10. Okay, you need to follow the instruction. If the instruction asks you to output up until 9, so you do it until 9 only. Okay, so that is regarding the condition here. Okay, and regarding the placement of this is rather important as well. Where you increment I ataupun the correct term, this term might be useful for you later when you do the for loop. Okay, we call it update the variable. This is the counter variable, so I just write this counter variable. Okay, this is what we call the counter variable. There is another term that I need to look into your PDF slide. There is a method that they define this term as, because we call this later. I will refer to the PDF note, but for now we just call it a counter variable. So counter variable simply means it is used for counting. So 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, so we use that for counting. Okay, so whenever you change the positioning to, let's say you put it before the cout, so what's gonna happen? Now we don't change anything else. We are still sticking with the correct condition. This will not lead to outputting the number up until 10. This will stop the I number to 9. But we only change the position of our variable update. Variable update is now located before the cout statement. So what's gonna happen here? As you can see here, it looks almost similar, but it is an entirely different pattern. As you can see, we now start from 1 rather than starting from 0. As you can see, the example just now wanted you to start from 0, but in this case your program starts counting from 1. The first cout is 1, so why did that happen? And then look at the last number, it's 10. It's not what we wanted as well. It seems like the whole pattern here, the whole arrangement here has been shifted by one place. Okay, so what causes this to happen? So look at this structure once again. Inside the while loop right here, you are basically incrementing 1 right before you outputting the first number. That is why the first value here was 0, but whenever you enter the loop, you straight away increment the I by 1. So every time you enter the loop, you increment the value first, then you display. Okay, rather than you display first and then you increment. So this is what you need to be concerned with. The positioning of your variable update. It is very important in order for you to get the correct result, the expected result. As you can see, when I put it earlier here, so my original I is 0. Let me use other method that is might be more easy for you to understand. Okay, so this is how it was supposed to look like, right? So even though I've changed it to this method right here, you are still gonna get the same exact result starting from 1, which is the one that we are not expecting. We were supposed to start from 0, and then we were supposed to end with 9, not 10. So that is incorrect output overall. So it is because of we do have this update counter variable position earlier than the display part right here. This is where we will display output to screen, display the values to screen. Okay, so whenever you enter this condition, the first condition is obviously gonna be 0. We are comparing 0 first with 9. Okay, that is true. Okay, that is true. So 0 is gonna be added with 1. That will give the new value of I here equivalent to 1. So I is 1. That is why the first value that gets printed out is 1. Okay, and then the square of 1 is 1 as well. And then you go up. Once you have finished executing those two lines, you will return back to the condition. Okay, now your I has been updated. Your I is 1. So is I lesser or equal to 9? That is still gonna return true. So your I, this is the original statement, right? So since your I now is 1, so I is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. So now you print out 2. So 2 multiply with 2, you get 4. And then you go back to the statement here. So since your current I is 2, so the next value that needs to be checked is 2 lesser than 9. So this keeps on going on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up until 9. So the last condition that is gonna be returning true is I equivalent to 9, like this. So this is true. Then you go inside here. So I is now 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So the last output here is gonna be 10, and then with the next value here, 10 multiplied with 10, returning 100. Okay, so that is really the explanation of the overall explanation of this while loop. I hope that you can grab the understanding here. So you need to practice this a lot, guys. Okay, you need to practice this a lot. Okay, you get this unexpected output here, output range. So oh no, lambat kami. Okay, sorry, iklan sekejap. Alright, guys, are you still with me?
Masih, sir.
Okay, so we have pretty much covered that topic just now. Okay, that is basically while loop for you, and I think we can get to the Code Academy really fast. So we can do the Code Academy now. So I can leave this to you for you to try on your own, let me get to the Code Academy real quick. Okay, I need to go to the loop interactive lesson. Alright, so introduction to loop. Okay, this is basically the one that you have seen in my Google slide just now. Okay, this is the Bank Code Academy demo. Right, we have this code right here. When the program asks you to enter your pin and try the following, you need to follow this basically. So this code right here, okay, we need to execute the code, and then you have to write this g++ enter pin.cpp, and then followed by executing the code a.out. You need to remember that. Then Bank of Code Academy, and then you just enter all these 1111, follow the instruction here 2019, and then 1 2 3 4, and then you would get the expected result here. So you press next. Okay, guess number. So now that we got a demo of loops, let's write one. The while loop looks very similar to an if statement, and just like an if statement, it executes the code inside of it if the condition is true. So it will execute this statement whenever, for as long as the condition is true. If the condition is false, it will skip the loop straight away. So in other words, instead of executing if something is true, it executes while that thing is true. So while the condition is true, you keep on outputting this. In this example, while guess is not equal to 8, the program will keep on asking the user to input a new number. It will exit the while loop once the user type 8, and the program will continue. Inside guess CPP, the instruction here, we have a program that asks user to guess a number between 1 to 10, and the answer is 8. Now instead of just asking the user to answer it once, let's add a while loop so that they answer it up to 50 times. Okay, so that is basically the structure there. So you need to add this condition right here. Okay, so basically you have been given this while loop structure. You can just copy it straight away, you don't have to rewrite them, and then this will let you input up until 50 times, and then you can try the code straight away, g++, and guess. The name of the code is now guess, so you type guess.cpp, and then .a.out, sorry, /a.out. So enter 1 to 10. So 1 is not correct, 2 is not correct, 3 is not correct, 4 is not correct, 5 is not correct, 6 is not correct, 7 is not correct, 9 is not correct, 0 is not correct, 100 is not correct. Okay, so the only correct number, if you keep on doing this wrong input, you can go up until 50 times, but the correct number is 8, right? So you got it. Okay, paham tak? Having lunch already? Huh?
Boleh skip kelak Rangga Walid lah.
Oh, okay. So you rewatch the recorded, huh? So basically I just want to do up until this, because this is the one that we did earlier. So basically I don't need to mention this to you, but okay, we will proceed with more on this Code Academy session for tomorrow's class, I guess. So we are about to reach to 12:30 now. Okay, I think we can pretty much stop until here tadi. Okay, because I skipped this guess number in my Google slide. That is why I wanted to show you this example right here, and I can do it on my own code here. So I can copy the code. So I can rerun it in my own compiler, local compiler here. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, and you can enter the correct number is 8. You got it. So basically you have a pretty much the same structure as the password is now. It's basically the same as password. Okay, you have guess now instead of pin, and then tries is still here. Tries, the number of retry that you can make. This is 50. Is very large number. It's very large guessing. Basically, since you know that the guess the number is between 1 and 10, so it could only be 10 different input, right? It can be 10 possibilities. There are 10 possibilities. So why do you put 50 there? So you just make it 10 times at least. So now if I run the code, and then I can start. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 8 is the correct one, sorry. I need to rerun it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, plus the first try. So it's 10 retry and then 1 initial guess. Okay, so that is how you create a condition for your loop. That is why we need to understand both the selection structure, the one with condition, with looping here. As you can see, you will never be using just the looping structure. You will always combine it with selection structure. Inside here you have got two different structure. Okay, at least for your project, you must be able to use these two structure first. Okay, for your proposal later, you need to be able to implement these two methods for that. Okay, so I guess that's it for today's session. I hope that for those of you who came in a little bit late, so you go to classwork, and then inside this group project submission tab, you click on it. Okay, the first post was this on February 12th, which is this advanced C++ sample code. So every one of you in this class, you should refer to this code right here. This is the best code to refer to for you to write your own program later on. Just use this as the baseline. This is something considered as the framework of your code, the fundamental of your code, because it gets all those logic inside here. All the logic for you to repeat the process, for you to do the condition, for you to do the selection structure, is everything inside here. All you need to do is just to apply this same concept right here with your own code, with your own project. Since my code is all about calculating the centroid of the beam, so yours might be different. You are doing this airline ticketing system. So I have posted these individual project documents down here, and what I need you to do is for you to read all these documents up. You better look at the instruction first. Okay, you start off with the instruction. You cannot view it straight away here. Okay, you just download the file, and then you read up the instruction, and then you need to write your name. Since this is an individual task, you write your name followed by the title. You discuss among yourself first in your WhatsApp group, and then once you have finalized, you do the listing inside your WhatsApp group. Only one person needs to do this. Actually, one person, one representative in the class. You update all the student name with title under my first comment here. So discuss among yourself what to be done for your project, so you can refer back to the C++ sample project, C++ project. You can search for C++ project anywhere under the sun. You can look for this banking system, library management system, and under this banking system it could be various bank, different method of like executing the instruction later. So it could be different bank, it could be different airline, it could be different restaurant. So it's up to you, it's up for your own discussion later. So you have 1000 projects example here, but you don't do something really extreme, something like the one with GUI. You don't do something like this. Okay, you try to make your project as simple as possible because you don't have enough time basically. Since like something like if you do something related to restaurant, you don't sell like 10 stuff in your restaurant. You just focus on like you sell like about 3 different menu. That's enough. Okay, so to make your code as short as possible, as easy to understand as possible. Okay, don't make too many things. Like if you are selling stuff, you don't sell like 20 stuff, 30 stuff, so it will make your code very long. So I don't want that to happen. So you can refer to any C++ project reference on Google, and then you can come up with your own topic later for you to do it on your own. Okay, you refer to all this, it has the criteria, all the required content of your report. So that's basically for today's class. Thank you for joining me today. For those of you who came in late maybe, or you have poor internet connectivity, you can always refer back to the video. So don't forget to visit my YouTube channel, which is here just now. Okay, this is the live stream that I made, so I can end the stream now. You can rewatch the stream